Let me tell you a story. Whilst I was doing my bachelor's, I worked as just an assistant at 9 different places to practice my type of nursing. And of those 9, 6 of them were simply my deployment from the school. So I was going to just cover an institution for between 8 to 10 weeks each. It's not really secret that most of the nurses are women, and most often they're all ranging from the ages between 20 to 60. Most likely they were in their top of 40s. One day I was going to be introduced to the nurse who were in charge of me, and most often when I first met her, she was going to then introduce me to my future colleagues. At this point of my life, I had already been fully invested in self-improvement. I was going to do this kind of journey full time. I was going to work online on YouTube. I'd been going to the gym lately. I had started meditating, trying to eat as clean as I could, sleep as much as I could, trying to improve and everything. I was just trying to fake my interest as a nurse while just introducing to the colleagues. Try to fake as best as I can. Almost all of them are fat. They talk about their deadbeat husband who is just lazily sitting at home watching TV and not really doing any chores at home, whilst seemingly the wife, the nurse who's working there, it just simply talks about how she's the boss of the house, basically, because she does the most chores at home. It really baffles me, like trying to talk shit about your husband at workplace. It just never seems appealing to me. The older nurses, they talk about like the grandchildren, what's just show each other just silly videos about what their 3-year-old grandchild is doing. They talk about their other children. They just talk about slippers, like woolly slippers that you wear at winters. Perhaps the most prominent thing across all of the different workplaces that I've been, they always just seem to talk really down on their pay, like they're getting underpaid. Not necessarily because the cash is low, but the workload that you're doing is not really compensating. They just talk shit about the job whilst I'm there day one. That's a great job. That's really nice to introduce to a new student. One on one, like they're nice to me. Some of them are harsh, but none of them are just flat out cruel. It's just so painfully obvious during all of my different stays that I don't fit in here. Here I am just stuck in a kind of dorm with other people who are simply not interested in me, and they are not talking about anything topics that I can even relate to in the slightest. On some workplaces, for instance like in the nursing homes, the shifts everyone has, they're somewhat timed, meaning that not everyone can take like lunch breaks at the same time because someone has to stay behind in case of like emergency. At those places between 8 to 10 weeks, I had 2 periods where almost every single day while I was at the work, I would just be sent out alone, just simply eat lunch alone. On some other places, I was not even permitted to sit with my colleagues who I've been spending so much time and so much energy with. It's against the policies. So they're going to like discuss like work matters that students are not involved in. I know, however, what they were talking about. I know exactly what they were talking about, and they did not want our students to be in there. So-called work policies, and they're going to discuss work matters. They're simply just going to shit talk on their own patients. Say, lady at 208, how she's such a pain in the ass to deal with. They're talking about the old man who's really having really strong dementia, how they'd love to just place him somewhere else if they had a chance. Not every place, mind you, but most often. One of the last places that I've been to during my education is that I came across one uncomfortable truth about just shift work and working as a nurse in general with my lead nurse. We were simply just talking about connection, community, like friendships and everything. And she would let me in that when I asked her about, like, do you hang out with your old friends, like girlfriends, whatever, she doesn't really have any old friends anymore because her shift works just really fucks her over because she's occupied during weekends. She work in day and evening and night shifts. Like sometimes you have to do night shifts. if she's working the weekends when her other girlfriends who are just working like regular 9 to 5, she will be working whilst her other girlfriends are free. It seems like just her colleagues alone are her friends. Of course, it makes sense. Like, you're working, but others have free time. And of course, when you're done with work, you don't necessarily have the energy to find new people. So you just settle in with the people you see the most. And that's colleagues. It just kind of hits me that, okay, if my colleagues are going to become my friends, I can't be friends with ladies. Like, not to be sexist, like, how is a 20-year-old man trying to get friends with women who's twice his age, talking about Nutella and slippers, talking about just bullshit toppings and shit talking their husband? Like, what kind of man can relate to that kind of talk? Like, no one's going to relate to such topics. Maybe interesting for women, but seemingly not a ambitious young man who's been trying to eat clean, trying to hit the gym, trying to do good things for his life to change things around. No man's going to be interested in those topics. Having friends and just knowing people is just so much more than just having a great time. They also will elevate you to do good habits that will make you grow and make you be more productive. Like, they hoist you up from the bottom. In many ways, being on this type of journey about self-improvement is such a gut punch, because you do really good things for you and you really feel the positive effects about being on this type of journey. But most people are not willing to join you. Most friends that you have on either Discord, you're just playing sports together, you kind of hang out at school, most people are not willing to follow you. They find it kind of weird. Like, why are you trying to drastically change yourself? It just seems out of pocket for you. Yesterday you were gaming all night, and today you're just meditating, reading books. Like, it seems kind of out of place for your character. They're not going to hop on your journey because they don't feel the necessity to start going with you. They haven't suffered, and they don't know your suffering that you have been enduring. They don't find the call to action to change. Of course, when you are in this kind of situation, there are many people on the internet who's simply doing self-improvement things. Like, of course, you can join my community, link in the description. But you'll find people who are doing nice, productive things. But people on the internet, it doesn't really provide you with any kind of feedback from day to day. They can give some guidance to you. They can try to encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. But you'd love to have someone you'll meet. You'd love to do some activities together. You would like to have someone spot you at the gym, right? Internet comments is not going to help you. Like, they're not going to spot you under the bench. In this kind of isolating journey, it's very tempting to try and get on self-improvement and just have some old friends at the side. Like, you're going to have someone just, you'll message but you don't really talk that much, something to land on in case you just get very lonely. Of course, it's very tempting because no one likes to be alone. Once you have given the truth about self-improvement, no old habits that you do are going to feel the same. You're not going to feel that kind of innocence about doing stupid activities. You're not going to have the nostalgia about doing bad activities, or at least activities that doesn't help you in any sort of way. For the bad habits you're doing, and you're doing a great job about doing on things on self-improvement. You work hard and you work on the things that you can fix. But at the same time, as you are sacrificing old activities and you're sacrificing your time to develop yourself, about the community that you have, it's also going to require a sacrifice. Community is important, but it's not important if it doesn't benefit you in any way. If it's just bothering you, making you feel uneasy, or if you just have bad friends. Like, when it comes to sacrifices, you often get choices. And the choices, as I've come to learn, is about what feels right, of the gut feeling. If you're sitting at lunch breaks like I do, with no one around you, or if you do sit in lunch breaks with someone, but they just talk about knitting, crochet, and kitty names, what their name pet should be, who the fuck cares, right? That doesn't help my situation at all. Just sitting in lunch breaks with just with just women you can't really relate to at all. Or just like I did, waking up at 5 a.m., driving to work, being stuck in traffic, work all day on a place that I don't really relate to at all, try to get home, get stuck in traffic, do a kind of workout, just half-assed, and not really get home before 5:30 p.m. or something. Just coming home to a girl who's not really satisfied with you because you've been kind of distant lately. She can see that your mind wanders off, and she doesn't really feel loved because you're so occupied about your current situation. Stressing times are going to make you jump the gun. Like when you are under the pressure and you don't have any choices, that's when the call to actions are going to come, because you're going all in. You don't have anything to lose because the situation is so bad that it requires action from you. The same would apply to community as well. If they don't benefit you in any way, you will love to invest old friends that doesn't really provide you anything. You will love to invest time trying to find new ones who's doing you better. It requires sacrifices, because if you don't follow your gut instincts, like if you just settle down at the current situation that you have, you're going to suffer. Simply doing activities that does help your situation, but it's a lot on the same time and it's lots of things to assess. It's also going to drain you. Like you'll suffer anyways, but the time is going to pass anyways, right? So one thing is going to be better than the other. Finding other people is really hard. They don't come automatically, unfortunately. You have to seek them out, right? Finding people is sort of a game. You need to develop the skill about talking to people, and you must game over, right? You must accept the fact that you're going to get rejected a lot, because a lot of people don't really resonate with the type of things that we're going to do. They don't find the gym appealing. They don't find meditation appealing. Eating clean, like why you're so serious about that. Cold showers, like who cares, right? Many people have this kind of attitude to the things we're doing, and not the people who does not find your goal entertaining at all. They're not worth your time. Get out there, sacrifice your old self, the old version of you who's anxious about talking to other people. You need to sacrifice him and invest in your future self, because your future self, well, you don't die necessarily if you don't find any people. But community is just so incredibly important to push you forwards, to make you develop and get a better version of yourself. Men are supposed to be with other men in the same community. They're supposed to help each other. They're supposed to make battles with you. Self-improvement, if you don't find any people, can be extremely lonely, but it's worth your time. The people who will follow you on the journey, they're going to be the best friends that you will ever have. Of course, you always find me on the Discord that I have linked down below. Go check it out right now. Stay strong, work on, bro.